Okay, everybody. So as I was saying, find yourself a comfortable place of sitting. And if it so happens that sitting isn't a great place for you to start in your practice, find a position that works for you to do so, that helps you to start to come inside from your day, or if you're just waking up from your night. And I want to acknowledge that this is solstice, the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, and for those of us in the class in the Southern Hemisphere, the shortest day of the year. Either way, it's when things are in balance, at least in the energy of the world. I'm wearing yellow as a celebration. So just acknowledging that as we practice, that this environment of the earth, the universe, and nature is around us, and allowing for that balance and transition and flow. Feed and nourish us as we go into this next cycle. To start to allow for the breath to deepen. And as you're breathing, you can, if you'd like, experiment with breathing and imagining the air coming into the body, finding the place where it naturally comes to rest, and then releasing it and letting go. For some of you, bringing breath into the body or imagining that can maybe feel too much. So you can also imagine breathing into the space around you. So finding the element of the breath, of the air, to come in and surround you, and if available, to come inside you. And even as we welcome the element of wind and air, we'll shift our attention and awareness to the element of the earth underneath our bones, bringing the awareness of the bones that are touching the earth for you right now, whether it's in your feet or legs or pelvis, or maybe even your hands. And with this element of the earth also comes the lineage before us, earth to earth, dust to dust, the prayers of those that have come before us, and the people who have walked the land, who've said many prayers for the well-being of their own children, for their harvests. And for even their lineage going forward, which is manifest in you at this moment. And shifting our awareness to the element of fire, the gathering around fires, to feed us, to keep us warm. And the fire that's cultivated within this Sangha, with this coming together, moving together. And the element of water, the flow of movement, emotions, and blood that circulates through your being. And bringing together all these elements into one place within you. If you'd like, you can gather it into the palms of your hands, bringing the palms together, thumbs touching the chest or near the chest. And just saying a brief prayer of intention for yourself. And exhaling into one brief mantra, prayer, whatever it is that may work for you. I like to say Om, so I will be saying Om 3 times. Om. As we move today, allowing for the quality of breath to continue to be our guide, letting the eye movement, the breath, the body be smooth. So reaching down with the hands on either side to the hips, we're going to go into the 3rd and 4th movement of the spine side bending. So placing the right hand on the floor, left hand on the shoulder, and start to side bend to the right. Coming back to center, right hand to right shoulder, left hand to the floor, side bend to the left. So we're just going to continue this very easy and gentle side bending, side to side. And one more to each side. And in this next movement, coming to center, both hands to the shoulders. Just taking a moment just to allow for the shoulders to descend from the ears, allowing the gaze to be soft along the horizon. And from here, letting the right hand reach back down towards the floor. We're going to side bend to the right, reaching that left elbow up towards the sky as you press down through that right hand. So pressing down through the right hand, reaching up with the left elbow, as if widening the space between the ribs on the left as much as you can. Breathing into the space between the ribs. And from here, turning the head to look down towards the right hand. Breathing fully and deeply as best as you can. If you can breathe in and out through the nose. And from here, tilting the chin down as if you're trying to look under the right armpit. That left elbow is still reaching to the sky. Side bending to the right. And then turning the head to look up towards the left elbow. Reach up with that left hand towards the sky. And from here, keeping the body side bent to the right, we're just going to tilt the chin down towards the left armpit and up. So we'll just move 5 times. In general, we do 5 movements, 5 breaths, just to give you an idea. And ending by looking up towards the left hand, reaching up with that left hand, spreading the fingers together wide and taking 3 breaths for that left hand to come down. Great. And coming back to center, just noticing the impact on the body as we move the elements throughout. And placing the left hand down on the mat or the floor, bringing that right hand up towards the shoulder side, bending to the left. As we side bend, make sure to press that right hip down towards the mat or the floor. So as you raise that right elbow up to the sky, you're also pressing down with that right hip, breathing into the side rib cage. It might feel awkward. And turning the head to look down towards the left hand, pressing through that left hand, raising up through that right elbow. And breathing. And tilting the chin down, the left chin down, as if you're looking under the left armpit. And turning the head to look up towards that right elbow, up towards the sky. Reaching up with that right hand, finger spread. And let the head turn back and forth here, just turning down to the left, turning up to the right. Remembering to breathe. And looking up at the hand, the right hand, spread the palm wide, turn the palm down, and take 3 breaths for that hand to come down towards the floor, gradually straightening up through the trunk. And pausing here. So we'll go into the 5th and 6th movements of the spine, rotation. So just placing the hands at the knees or near the knees on the thighs. And we'll start with turning to the left first. As we turn to the left, keep the chin centered over the chest, turning the body to the left. So keeping the chin centered over the chest. This is a rotation in the spine. So you might notice that you might have to press down through the sit bones and lift up through the top of the head to get a little more rotation here. And when you really are done with the rotation, where the body is just, okay, this is where I need to be, we're going to pause here for 5 breaths. You might notice that with every exhalation, the body might actually start to be able to rotate a little bit more. All these little micro muscles in the ribs, we hold tight, start to let go. You can use your hands for leverage to help you come fully into a rotation that feels good for the body. And then from here, start to allow for the head to turn, as if you're turning to look over that left shoulder. Now with the body turned fully to the left, the head looking over the left shoulder. We're going to actually allow for the eyes to turn to the right and then turn to the left. So it's only the eyes that are moving. Noticing the interaction between the breath and the movement. And releasing the eyes, releasing the head, releasing the body, coming back to center. Let's just pause for a moment. So these are movements that help the nervous system to recalibrate, to balance. So we'll go with rotating to the right now, continuing to follow the quality of the breath as you rotate, keeping the chin over the chest. You may notice that when we go into these slower movements or start paying attention more deeply, there can be a type of confusion or awkwardness in the body. One side might feel more responsive than the other. And from here, releasing the head as if you're looking over the right shoulder. And allowing for the eyes to look left and right. Noticing if there are any jumpy movements or seeing if you can allow for the eyes to move side to side. And what it does to your heart rate. And releasing the head, the body, coming back to center. Just notice the impact of these really two movements, side bending and rotation. So we're going to do the first and second movements of the spine by coming into all fours. So the shoulder, the hands are underneath the shoulders, about an inch away, an inch in front of the shoulders. We're going to concentrate first on just bringing the palms, the heels, onto the mat, pressing forward through the palms. As you press forward through the palms, widening the fingers as much as you can, and then coming back onto the heels of the hands and just noticing, is there anything twingy? Is something hurting? If so, then you might want to experiment with putting something under the heels of the hands so that you can be with your hands, the presence of the bones contacting the earth. It's this quality that, when we pay attention, allows us to be more receptive to the gifts of the element that want to work through us. Just allowing just maybe a little gentle rocking from heel through the palm to the fingers. And from here, we're going to broaden this movement a little bit by coming back towards the heels, bringing the buttocks towards the heels, and then forward. So just noticing, sensing, feeling how that feels on the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the hands, maybe the elbows. Making sure the elbows aren't locked, slightly engaged. And then coming back to center, just finding a balance between the hands and the knees, making sure the knees are underneath the hips here. We're going to start first with the first movement of the spine, drawing the belly button in towards the spine. So as you draw it in and continue to draw it in, the back will start to curve into a rounded position, the tailbone tucks. And then as you release, as you inhale, release that engagement of the abdominal muscles, just allow them to move forward and the back will move in the other direction. So we're just continuing this engagement really of just the pelvis and the lower back. As you do this movement, inhale, release here, expand. And then as you exhale, drawing the belly button into the spine, but also engaging the glute muscles, tucking the tailbone. Now, you'll notice that as you do this, you might have originally tried to do maybe a larger sweeping movement through the spine. So now that we have a little bit more awareness of what we're really doing, let's see if we can start moving that a little bit more through the rest of the body, up through the middle spine to the neck, and releasing the belly and just letting it, the spine, shift directions like a wave. And coming back to center here, I'm going to take a moment just to take a breath. So from here, we're going to do some movement for the hip and the foot, connecting the foot with the hand actually. So to start this, we're going to shift our weight a little bit to the left leg, sweep the right foot forward to where it feels comfortable. It might be halfway, or it might be all the way up towards that right pinky. We're just finding this movement that feels good, just sweeping the foot along the floor, luxuriating in that movement, just really exploring it for yourself here. The knee can be straight to start, just so that you can feel maybe the entirety of the leg, sweeping it all around, maybe crossing over to the other side. And now as you do this movement, see if you can bring it a little farther with the knee bent. And towards the end of the sweep, so as we sweep it forward towards the hand, start to bend the knee and then distribute the weight over the foot, just like you did with the hand. So we start with the heel spread through the bones to the toes, and then press back, letting your breath be your guide. And one last one here. We're going to bring the foot up as far as comfortable, exhaling here, moving the knee over the toes or over the foot. So we're going to do that movement just very gently, nice and flowing. Knee over foot. You'll feel a stretch in this inner part of the thighs. Sweeping the leg back. Pausing here, just noticing how this might feel. If it feels good, maybe wagging the tail a little bit, bringing the right hip down towards the floor, then the left. Keeping the knees together as you do this. Just warming up the outer muscles of the hip. And coming back to center. Just noticing and sensing your body. If you've had any neck tension that you came into the class with, or any back tension, just notice if it's building at all. If that's the case, you might want to take a break, just bringing your arms down, forearms down, and maybe curl the toes under and just allow the head to hang. And then coming back up, and we'll do the other side. So sweeping with the left leg now. Every side feels different. Even the quality might feel different. So bringing the that left foot up towards the left pinky, bending the knee at the very end. And at any time, if you feel like you're exploring something, you're onto something, an awareness in your body, feel free to just do it. Pay attention to yourself, tune me out, and do what allows you to cultivate what you need. So from here, bringing the left foot to a pause near the left pinky, the knee is bent, and we're going to just move with that knee over the foot and toes. You might notice all sorts of compensations. There might be things that you notice as you do these movements that you weren't aware of. It's always helpful to look to see what you're doing as well, because sometimes what we think we're doing is not actually what's happening. Okay, I'm bringing that left foot back and wagging the tail side to side. You might notice you can go a little bit deeper. And coming back to center. So threading the needle, and then we'll make our way into standing. So with the right hand sliding under the left armpit, and then reaching back through and up to the right. Just doing that movement side to side. And bring that right hand down. Noticing if there's any tendency or quality to rush or to space out. Bringing that left hand under and rotate. you have any shoulder issues when you do this, you can just keep your hand resting on the shoulders and use the elbow. And sometimes doing it this way can be very helpful for relieving any neck or back issues because it will focus the movement a little bit more into the middle spine and coming back to center. So to come up, we're going to just rock back and forth with the knees or the toes curled under. Just giving a little stretch to the bottom of the feet. And coming back so that the hands are closer to the knees. We're going to actually move the hands over to one side and bring the opposite foot forward. Bring the hands onto the thighs, curl the back toes under, and press yourself up. So coming into standing and just noticing the quality of energy, the flow and movement of your blood. The state of your mind. And we'll do a balance pose and then go into our warrior series. So to do this balance pose, this is what some people call a tree pose. We're just going to shift our weight side to side, right to left. Again, sensing the feet just like we did with the hands. And coming to rest over the left foot, about 75% of your weight on your left foot. Place the hands on the hips and just really get a sense of the hips level, squeezing in that left hip muscle. We're going to turn the right knee to the right and slide the heel of the right foot over towards the ankle, resting on the inside of the left ankle. From here, you're welcome to stay right here and bring the arms up and together down towards the heart, allowing for the eyes to rest in front of you. It helps to have a spot in front that the eyes can rest upon as the body starts to settle. For some people who want a little bit more challenge with their balance, you can place your foot on the inner shin or above the knee, not at the knee, because the knee has fragile structures, and over time, the ligaments in the knees will break down. So make sure that as you do this, that the right foot is pressing on the inner aspect of either the thigh, the calf, or the ankle. Lengthening through the top of the head, breathing, and with the gaze focused, allowing for the body to settle. Trees will sway. They are surrounded by the elements, and they are the elements, just like you are. Their breath is your breath, and your breath is theirs. And releasing the hands, the foot, coming back to both feet on the earth. And shifting the weight over to the right side. Again, hands at the hips, engaging the right hip, making sure the hips are squeezed in towards the center, turning that left knee out and resting the heel of the left foot on the inner right ankle. And you can stay right here if you'd like. Hands up and down into a prayer. And you can also slide the left foot up to a place that feels right. As we go into this prayerful place, making sure that the alignment, the container of the body is drawing in towards center so that right hip is engaged. If you feel that your heart is starting to race or there's something about this, see if you lower the gaze a little bit more towards the floor, towards the bottom third of the gaze. And also letting the foot rest on the floor will help you ground. And releasing the hands, the foot. And coming to pause, just feeling and sensing the body, the heart. And going into our warrior pose here. And the warrior helps to cultivate Pariah, energy, persistence. And our warm-up helps to cultivate the discernment of effort. So we're going to, again, shift the weight over to the left leg, engaging the hips and stepping back with the right foot. As you step back with that right foot, the heel is in the air. Both legs are in their own lanes, about shoulder width apart. And maybe even check your knee, check that left knee, making sure it's over the foot. Again, checking the hips, engaging the hips into the center so that they're not jutting out to one side or another. It helps to imagine the tailbone scooping down towards the earth, descending towards the earth, maybe tilting up a little bit as it descends. I will take 5 breaths with the arms overhead, palms facing. And bring that left hand down to the left thigh. We're going to turn that right foot, that back foot, so that it faces towards the right or faces forward. And bring that right arm back, reaching back. So the left knee continues to point towards the left knee over the foot. The right foot is perpendicular to the left. Left hand reaches back and then sweeping it down, forward and up. Large movements of the arm, of the hips, the trunk. As if we're stirring the pot of integration of the elements within the body, bringing balance and well-being to our spirit. Switching directions. If you'd like, you can also work with the eyes and the head as you do this. You can, if you'd like, follow the hand with the eyes and head. And last one, we're going to scoop up. And as the body starts to turn towards the left, also turn that back foot, the right foot, to point towards the left, lifting the left arm up, palms facing, coming back into this warrior one. Lifting through the top of the head, lengthening the back of the neck. Shoulders descend. Releasing that right hand to the left knee. We're going to turn the body now towards the left, very gently. Might be a small movement. Reaching back with that left hand. Scooping down and up. So turning the body. If you feel any twinging or popping or discomfort in the shoulder, again, remember, hand on the shoulder, let the elbow lead. And facing back to the left, over the left knee, hinging over that left thigh. And if you'd like, you can, raise that right foot up, touch down, and lift this right leg a couple of times. And push off and bring your feet together. And let's pause, just noticing the difference between the flow of the right versus the left. And we'll go to the other side. So shifting your weight over to the right side again, engaging the hips. Bring that left knee up, stepping back. Left heel is up. The weight is distributed between the right foot and the ball of the left foot. Trunk nice and balanced between the left and the right leg. Scooping the tailbone down towards the earth. As the tailbone descends, there's this equal and opposite lift of the chest and lengthening through the top of the head. As you come into this position, settling the body, there might also be just a slight drawing in of this lower rib cage. And from here, extending through the elbows, arms up, 5 breaths. Letting go into the sensation and integration and flow. Releasing that right hand to the right thigh. And as the left hand reaches back behind, turn that left foot. The left foot is perpendicular to right, reaching back with that left hand, sweeping down and up. Explore the movement with the eyes and the head fairly steady. When that feels confident, then start to add in the eyes and the head. Remember to breathe, switching directions. Releasing the toes, releasing any gripping And last one, sweeping up, turning the body to the right as you turn that left foot to face back towards the right. Sweeping that right arm up. Taking a breath here. And releasing that left hand down to the right thigh. Reaching back with the right arm. And moving with this rotation. It's helpful to do this rotation. It's occurring through the trunk. So as you bring that right arm back, press down through the ball of the right foot. See if that helps. You might find that some movements feel more unsteady, and respect that. It might not be in your capacity right now. And coming back to face over the right. And bringing the hands down towards the right thigh, hinging over that right thigh. And lifting that back foot. Tap down. 5 times or so. And pressing forward with the toes on the ground and stepping your feet together. So we're going to very carefully make our way down towards the floor to finish our practice. So coming onto the floor in this 90-90 position. So the knees are bent so far. The left knee, the outer part of the left knee is on the floor, inner part of the right is on the floor. If this feels impossible or uncomfortable, you can try sitting on the mats like we did at the beginning to see if that helps. And if that doesn't work, you can also try putting a mat under each knee and seeing what helps for you. It might be a mixture. So from here, just need to make sure that the left shin is nice and straight in front of you. The chest can move forward over the left shin, back and forth here. Allowing the breath to smooth. And this last one, as we hinge forward, you start to allow the body to fall forward, the arms to come down towards the floor. If you're worried you're not going to make it or it's a big stretch, you can also gather some mats or a big pillow, put it under the arms, and then gradually fold forward, letting the head come down into a pause. And we'll take about 30 breaths here. And gradually pressing yourself back up into sitting. We're going to shift positions of the knees. So if you're sitting on a mat, the front shin, the right shin, is going to be parallel with the edge of the mat, and the left knee is going to be at the level of the hip as best as you can. So just noticing what feels comfortable, what feels awkward. If it feels uncomfortable sitting down into this left hip, you might not want to go back as far. You might want to draw that the left knee forward. Again, experimenting with the mats to notice and feel what feels right for you, whether you need to sit on a mat with your sit bones or have something under your knees. Just taking that special time for you to really pay attention, because this is how we integrate wisdom. This is how we integrate the power of our own healing. So allowing the body to hinge forward and back over this right leg. And hinging forward completely, walking the arms forward until the arms and the head come to rest. Carefully bringing yourself back up to sitting. And to come into a seated position to end practice today. For those of you who like to do Shavasana, which is lying down back with the arms and legs outstretched, you're welcome to do that. In the interest of time, you're welcome to continue to stay in your practice for as long as you need. And I will end class.
Thank you, Rita.